Hello and welcome to the Sleepy Physicist. I'm so glad you found your way here. Whether you're curled up under the covers, listening late at night, or simply letting your breathing become soft and steady, this is a calm and curious space just for you. It's a place where science isn't hurried or harsh, but gentle, flowing, and full of awe. Tonight, we'll begin an exploration of the sleeping brain, delving into the intricate workings of your own slumbering mind. Our subject is something truly alive: neuroplasticity, the remarkable ability of your brain to change, adapt, and reorganize itself. This doesn't just happen during intense learning, but is especially active and important while you sleep. A quick reminder: these bedtime stories are meant for peaceful listening and for educational purposes only. They aren't a substitute for professional medical advice, but rather a comforting companion to your rest, like a soft, scientific lullaby. If you find these journeys helpful, a kind super thanks, or joining our channel membership is a wonderful way to show support. It helps keep the stories coming and the lights low for peaceful minds everywhere. Let me know in the comments where you're listening from. Every time zone is a thread in this shared constellation of calm. So now, let us begin. Your mind as a landscape. Imagine your mind not as a rigid machine, but as a living field that is slowly and openly shifting. All day long, this field is visited by your thoughts, feelings, emotions, and choices. Every action you take, every thought you have, and every feeling you experience creates a subtle trail. Some are well-worn and deeply familiar, carved out by repetition. Others are new, delicate paths barely made into the ground. As you settle into stillness, this landscape doesn't freeze. Instead, it becomes more fluid. This is what your brain does best: adapt, respond, and reshape itself. It accomplishes this through neuroplasticity. While that word may sound technical, it represents a simple yet extraordinary concept. Neuro refers to your neurons, the tiny cells in your brain that send signals, hold memories, and form your thoughts. Plasticity means flexibility, the ability to bend, to form, and to mold. Your brain isn't hardwired like a fixed circuit. It's soft-wired, capable of being rewritten. Think of it as a painter that reworks its own canvas, even as the image is taking shape. This happens especially during sleep, when there are no new distractions, and the brain can turn its focus inward to refine its work. The moment your eyes close and your breathing deepens, something fascinating begins. Neural housekeeping. Your mind moves out of the rhythm of daily thought and into a slower, quieter, more dreamlike state. This isn't a state of emptiness, it's a process of recalibration, a kind of neural housekeeping. Connections that were active during the day begin to organize themselves. Some are strengthened, others are trimmed away, and some are gently woven into the fabric of your memory. Picture a garden at night. You might think it's silent, but if you could shrink down and listen closely, you'd hear the creaking of stems adjusting, the quiet work of roots threading deeper into the soil, and the unseen exchange of breath between leaf and air. Your brain is doing something similar. While you rest, glial cells, your brain's quiet caretakers, clear out waste proteins that accumulate during waking hours. This process is known as the glymphatic system, and it's most active during deep sleep. You can visualize it as a night janitor, sweeping and rinsing the brain's inner halls to make room for tomorrow's learning. At the same time, your neurons begin to rehearse. Like musicians practicing scales, they replay patterns, thoughts you had, words you heard, and movements you learned. But they do so in fragments, in small waves and pulses. This process helps to consolidate memory, reinforcing what matters and letting go of what doesn't. The brain's emotional work. Your emotional brain also begins to soften its sharp edges. Feelings that clung to you during the day, stress, joy, fear, or longing, are revisited in dreams, stretched into metaphors, and processed in slow motion. This, too, is neuroplasticity, the act of emotional integration. Your brain doesn't just learn facts, it learns how to feel, how to find balance, and how to simply exist. Perhaps the most beautiful aspect of all this is that this shaping is continuous. Whether you're learning a new instrument, recovering from a broken heart, or simply getting older, your brain adapts in response. It's never too old, never too tired, and never truly still. Even now, as you listen, it's adapting. So as you lie here, maybe with your hands gently resting on your chest or tucked beside your face, know that stillness isn't stagnation. Stillness is what allows the unseen work to begin. You are a mind in motion even when the world around you slows down. This motion isn't frantic, it's tidal, slow, rhythmic, and almost oceanic. Every breath you take invites another pulse of quiet restructuring. A thought from earlier today might be fading, absorbed into a wider network of meaning. A feeling that lingered may be loosening its grip, becoming just another brushstroke on your inner canvas. The story of who you are is being gently revised, not erased, but refined. It's like a song being smoothed between verses or a sculpture being sanded along its contours. And while this is happening, while your brain weaves and reweaves its soft lattice of understanding, you drift into sleep, into imagination, into a place where time bends and meaning unfolds in symbols. This is where neuroplasticity becomes dreamlike, where science and story start to merge. This is where your mind whispers questions to itself, plays out scenarios, and remembers through metaphor. You dream not just for entertainment, but to understand. Awakening while you rest. What then does the sleeping brain really look like? Is it quiet and resting? Or is it wide awake in its own mysterious way? That's what we'll explore next, because when your eyes close, your inner world begins to sparkle, and the sleeping brain truly awakens. You are lying still now. Your breath has grown soft, your limbs warm and heavy. The world outside fades like a shoreline disappearing in the mist, and within you something begins. Your body rests, but your brain brightens. Strange, isn't it, that the mind seems most alive when you seem most still? As sleep begins to deepen, your brain shifts its rhythm. It's no longer focused on external input. No more sights, no more sounds, no more decisions to make. Instead, it starts to listen inward. This is the moment the sleeping brain awakens. A new type of activity starts to blossom behind your closed eyes. It's not chaotic or random, but elegant and ordered, like the unfolding of petals. Your brain hums in quiet patterns. Each wave of activity serves a purpose: to clear, to restore, and to connect. There are cycles now, gentle stages of descent and return. The first is light sleep, like floating just below the surface of a pool. Thoughts drift in and out. You're aware but slipping away. Then comes deeper sleep, where your consciousness fades and your brain begins its quiet harvest. Here, in the dark theater of your mind, the performance begins. Tiny sparks of electricity light up different regions, flashes of memory and fragments of emotion. You might picture them as fireflies in a vast cavern, blinking in patterns only your body can understand. The purpose of dreams: this is slow-wave sleep, the time for repair. Your muscles heal, your immune system strengthens, and your brain starts its nighttime work. Waves of activity ripple slowly across the brain's surface. Each wave is a whisper, a cue for neurons to strengthen or soften their bonds. Like a conductor guiding an invisible orchestra, the brain coordinates these signals. It decides what to keep, what to release, and what to weave into the loom of yourself. During this time, your hippocampus, the part of your brain that stores memories, passes its notes to the cortex. It's like a librarian handing over pages to a vast archive, helping your brain remember what it learned today. But not everything makes it into the archive. Only the moments that mattered, the feelings, the surprises, the newness. The rest is gently erased, cleared to make space. Sleep is nature's editor, trimming the clutter and highlighting the meaning. And then the rhythm shifts. You enter REM sleep, name for the rapid eye movements beneath your eyelids. This is a different world now, brighter, more emotional, and more chaotic. Your brain's activity becomes almost as intense as when you're awake, but your body stays perfectly still. It's as if the mind takes center stage while the body steps aside. And this is where dreams arise, not from fantasy, but from fragments. Your brain gathers scattered pieces, memories, worries, images, and feelings. It rearranges them, runs simulations, and paints strange and poetic scenes. It's like watching yourself in a play, but with no script and no rules. A form of intelligence. Dreams may seem nonsensical, but they serve a profound purpose. They allow your brain to connect ideas, test emotions, and rehearse solutions. In this way, dreaming isn't just a sideshow, it's a form of intelligence, one that is visual, emotional, and deeply human. Even during the most surreal dreams, your brain is hard at work, reshaping itself, strengthening patterns, and releasing what no longer serves you. Neuroscientists once believed the brain shut down during sleep. Now, they know the opposite is true. The sleeping brain is buzzing, flowing, and building. Every dream you have, and every stage you pass through, adds another layer to who you are. Not just memories, but identity. You are your dreams, even if you can't remember them. This cycle, this gentle rise and fall, repeats again and again through the night, from light sleep to deep sleep to REM. Your brain loops through these stages, each cycle a spiral staircase leading inward. The deeper you go, the more your mind releases control and something older takes over, a biological wisdom honed over millions of years. Sleep is not a break from life, it is life's essential rhythm. Your brain isn't just resting, it is organizing, healing, dreaming, and growing. And all of this happens behind closed eyes, beneath blankets, and beneath your conscious mind. You are both the observer and the observed. So tonight, as you drift, know that you are not slipping away. You're returning to the core of what it means to learn, to change, and to be human. The architecture of sleep tomorrow, you may not recall these inner fireworks, but they leave their trace in clearer thinking, in steadier feeling, and in the quiet confidence of being shaped gently by the night. And now you are sinking deeper still. Your brain's waves slow again. You leave behind the sparkle of dreaming and slip into something even more mysterious, a hidden architecture built in cycles and stages. A secret blueprint in your mind. Just ahead, we'll explore that design, how your brain builds its nights like a cathedral of rhythm and time. There is a quiet music playing beneath your thoughts tonight. You may not hear it, but your brain does. It's older than language, deeper than dreams, a slow rhythm pulsing through every fold of your sleeping mind. These are brain waves, not waves of water, but of electricity, soft patterns that rise and fall, faster and slower, in a kind of neural tide. Just as the ocean has currents and depths, your sleep has stages, and each stage is shaped by the waves that ripple through your brain. Tonight, as you drift further into slumber, these waves carry you with them, not away from yourself, but deeper within. Let's follow them now as we listen. In the beginning, as you first close your eyes and breathe long and low, your brain starts to slow down. The busy waves of the waking day, called beta waves, grow quiet. They are quick and sharp, useful for tasks and focus. But now the world grows dim and a softer rhythm takes their place. Alpha waves arrive first. They shimmer just beneath wakefulness, like twilight for the brain. Calm, dreamy, hovering between thought and release. You may feel them as the moment you begin to let go, but are not quite asleep. They bring calm, signaling that your body can relax. From waves to dreams, then come theta waves, slower still, gentler still. These guide you into light sleep, where you might still sense the room or hear your name whispered faintly, yet your mind has already begun to drift. Thoughts loosen, sensations float. You're between here and somewhere else. A dream may flicker and vanish before you even realize you've begun to dream, and now deep sleep. This is where the delta waves take over, low, wide, and powerful, like rolling thunder beneath the surface of your consciousness. This is your most restful sleep, the place where healing begins. Delta waves are the body's invitation to repair. Muscles rebuild, cells regenerate, and memories are quietly filed away. Growth hormone is released. This is the fertile darkness in which your brain and body root themselves. Children spend more time in delta sleep. It's part of what makes childhood such a period of intense growth and learning. As adults, we still return here, not as often perhaps, but deeply when we do. You may not dream much in this stage. It is beyond image, beyond story. It is a wordless, dreamless silence where your brain is at peace with its own work. But soon enough, the waves shift again. Sleep is not a straight line, it's a circle, a spiral. From deep sleep, you rise again toward lighter waves. And then, often about 90 minutes into your night, the rhythm changes completely. Enter REM sleep. REM waves are fast and bright, almost like waking waves. Your brain becomes active again, lighting up emotional centers, visual centers, and memory centers. But your muscles stay still, held in place by nature's design so you don't act out your dreams. You only live them within. These REM waves allow your brain to connect ideas, replay experiences, and imagine strange futures. It is a time for narrative, for metaphor, for emotional insight. Your dreams here may feel vivid and meaningful or bizarre and scattered. But always, something is being processed. The rhythm of growth you cycle through these waves. Light sleep, deep sleep REM, about 4 to 6 times each night. Each cycle lasts roughly 90 minutes, give or take, and with each round the balance shifts. Early in the night you get more delta sleep. Later, you linger longer in REM. It's like the brain is planting seeds in the beginning, then walking through its garden as morning nears. And all of this happens without effort. You don't will it. You don't direct it. Your brain knows when to dive deep, when to rise, and when to imagine. It listens to ancient cues encoded in your biology. It reads the dark like a symphony conductor reads a score. Even disruptions, like a restless night or a nap taken late, can ripple through this music. They may shift the timing and the balance of waves, but the rhythm tries to restore itself. Sleep, like the sea, always seeks its own tide again. You may not remember these waves, but they remember you. They leave traces, like footprints in the sand, that affect how you feel when you wake groggy, refreshed, tender, or clear. Your brain carries the imprint of the night. And the beauty of it all is that each night is different. No 2 nights are quite the same. No 2 patterns are identical. Each sleep is a new dance of electricity and silence, of descent and ascent. And in this subtle motion, you are being reshaped, softly, gently, night after night. The map of you, because these waves are not just signs of sleep, they are agents of change. The architecture of learning and healing is built wave by wave. Neuroplasticity moves with the rhythm of these currents. When the waves are slow, it prunes and simplifies. When the waves are fast, it connects and strengthens. And you are carried along not just resting, but becoming. So tonight, as you lie there listening, perhaps you can imagine these waves flowing gently across your mind, moving like light through water, like breath through fog. They are the signature of your night's journey, a quiet map drawn in pulses and rest. And just beyond the horizon of these waves lies something even more mysterious. Not just the waves, but the structure they build, the hidden blueprint of sleep itself. A delicate architecture made of time, rhythm, and change. Next, we'll explore how your brain arranges its night, not as chaos but as a design, a structure both ancient and personal. The architecture of sleep awaits. In the quiet of the night, as the outer world fades from view, something remarkable stirs inside you. A map is unfolding. Not a flat scroll of paper or a set of directions you can hold, but a living map, one that breathes and changes with you. One that isn't made of ink or roads, but of neurons and thought, of motion and meaning. Your brain carries this map everywhere you go. It is not for finding your way through cities or woods, but through experiences, habits, and understanding. Every day your brain adds new details to this inner landscape, and every night it quietly redraws its edges. You may not know it, but right now, beneath your sleep and silence, your map is being gently revised. The inner architect this map is called a neural network. It's how your brain stores and connects information through electrical paths that pass between tiny cells called neurons. These cells speak in flashes, in pulses of light and chemistry, each one connected to thousands of others, creating patterns as vast and intricate as a galaxy. But these paths aren't fixed. That's the quiet magic of neuroplasticity. Each time you learn something new, have a new thought, or feel something differently, your brain shifts. Some paths grow stronger, others fade. Some link across unexpected distances, connecting perhaps a memory of childhood rain with a song you heard today. Like a city that never sleeps, your brain is always under construction, and sleep is when the builders arrive in earnest. Imagine this, your brain as a glowing landscape. Some places are well lit, frequently visited, and familiar, like neighborhoods you walk through every day. Others are dim, rarely visited, and left to grow quiet. Each night, your brain wanders through this terrain, adjusting the light, clearing clutter, and building bridges where they're needed. Dreams help guide this process. They are not just flickers of imagination, but part of the mapping. They test out new paths. They wander down old ones, perhaps lighting up a street you hadn't traveled in years. Have you ever woken from a dream of a forgotten place? A classroom, a grandparent's kitchen, a tree you climbed long ago. That's your brain sweeping a light over those old regions, checking if they still hold meaning, if they should stay or fade a little more. This mental map doesn't just hold memories, it holds habits, movements, speech, and emotion. Even your sense of self has a place within it. A quiet center shaped by all the moments you've lived. And every time you do something different, try a new routine, speak a new word, or pause before reacting, your map responds. It stretches, it softens. It changes. You're not only walking this map, you're drawing it, making room for what could be tonight. As you lie still, your brain revisits the day's journey. It decides which new paths are worth keeping and which can be gently erased. The familiar paths are deepened, strengthened by repetition. The uncertain ones may be softened unless you return to them tomorrow. This is how change happens, not in sudden leaps, but in countless tiny choices drawn line by line over time. If you're learning something new, like a language, a musical instrument, or how to care for yourself differently, your brain notices. It pays attention. It redirects resources. It begins to mark those paths more clearly on the map. And if you're healing, perhaps from loss or fear or a life that has been turned upside down, your brain adjusts here too. It may take time, but the map shifts. It finds new routes around what has been broken. It builds bridges over sorrow, not to forget, but to move forward with care. Neuroplasticity doesn't mean forgetting the old map. It means allowing new trails to grow beside it. It means honoring where you've been while making room for what could be. Even if change feels invisible, it is happening now, beneath sleep, beneath stillness. And though this map is yours, you do not walk it alone. Every human carries a map shaped by their life, by their choices, and by the stories they tell themselves. And yet the structure is shared. We all carry memories. We all learn. We all dream. Tonight, your map is shimmering with quiet movement. Connections hum softly, like lines of thread being pulled into place. You're not a fixed point, you're a constellation in motion. And as the map updates itself, something extraordinary begins to form, not just a record of where you've been, but a readiness for where you might go. Because soon your brain will begin to dream again. To lift pieces from this map and spin them into stories, to explore the emotional corners of your terrain, to wander freely through memory and feeling, rewiring in metaphor. The map becomes a dream and the dream becomes the guide. The garden of memory next will step into that world of blooming memory, where dreams don't just visit the past, they help it blossom into something new. Inside you, a garden stirs. You may not feel it as you rest, but something is blooming softly in the dark. Not flowers, not vines, but memories. Old ones, new ones, and half-formed ones, each unfolding quietly like petals warmed by moonlight. This is what your sleeping brain does so beautifully. It takes the scattered seeds of experience and allows them to grow. It doesn't file memories away like a librarian placing books on a shelf. Instead, it weaves them into the soft soil of your mind, letting them root and rise in their own rhythm. Tonight, your brain is doing just that. Right now, as your body lies still and your breath floats slowly in and out, deep parts of your brain are awake. The hippocampus, that quiet keeper of short-term memory, is busy. You might picture it as a gardener gently carrying buckets of experience from one corner of the brain to another, deciding what to nurture, what to prune, and what to compost back into the earth. Earlier today, you may have learned something new, something small, perhaps unnoticed. A passing conversation, a new idea, a moment of emotion that stirred you. Your hippocampus noticed, and now in your sleep, it is lifting that moment up, passing it to the cortex, the outer layer of the brain where long-term memories are stored. This handoff doesn't happen all at once. It takes repetition. It takes rhythm. It takes the soft hum of delta waves and the vivid fire of dreams. What matters and what doesn't, your memories do not stay fixed like photographs. They breathe, they shift, they can grow brighter or dimmer. They can change shape. And sleep is when this change unfolds most deeply. You may dream of something you thought you had forgotten, a scent from childhood, a classroom, a place you haven't seen in years. These memories are being visited, reconsidered, not for nostalgia, but for integration. Your brain is deciding, does this still matter? Is this connected to who I am now? How does it fit into the garden I'm growing? And sometimes new memories are stitched together with old ones. Your dream may blend faces, places, and feelings that never met in waking life. That's because your brain isn't organizing memories by time or logic. It's organizing by meaning. So while you sleep, meanings bloom. Perhaps a difficulty you face today echoes something deeper. Your dream might revisit it not as a copy, but as a metaphor, a room with no exit, a sudden rain, a door swinging open onto the sky. It might not make sense when you wake, and that's all right. The bloom of memory doesn't need to be understood to be complete. It simply needs time and space and the gentle quiet of night. Even forgetting has a purpose. Your brain, ever the gardener, knows that not every seed must be kept. Some are gently released, making room for growth. This forgetting isn't a failure, it's clarity. It allows the important blooms to thrive. And sometimes what seems forgotten is only resting, held in shadowed corners until the right season returns. As this cycle continues, your brain strengthens the roots of what matters. It doesn't just recall a fact, it deepens your relationship to it. It links it to emotion, to context, and to experience. Like a flower drawing water through its roots, each memory draws meaning from the network around it. This is how learning becomes understanding, how knowing becomes wisdom. The hidden dance of connection, and all the while, your brain remains in motion. Even now, tiny synapses are adjusting. Some stretching to reach new connections, some drawing back, making space. Neuroplasticity isn't just a process, it's a feeling, a flexibility, a willingness to change. Tonight, your memories are not simply being stored, they're being softened, integrated, and rewritten in small, beautiful ways. You may wake tomorrow with a new clarity, a gentler heart, or a solution you didn't know you were working on. That is the gift of sleep. It allows what's hidden to rise, and it welcomes surprise. So let your mind drift even deeper now. Let it wander through the garden you've grown. Each memory is a petal, each emotion a seed. The bloom is quiet but profound. And just ahead, another layer begins to stir. Because if memories are the blooms, then synapses are the roots. Next, we'll follow those roots into the hidden dance of connection, where tiny spaces between neurons spark and change with every breath of thought. There's a light show inside you. Even now, not one you can see with your eyes, but one that pulses quietly through the folds of your brain. It doesn't flash all at once, but flickers in patterns, like stars across the sky or fireflies in a summer meadow. Each flicker is a message, each spark a whisper from one part of you to another. These are your synapses. They're not the neurons themselves, but the spaces between them. Tiny gaps where electricity pauses just for a breath and is passed along through delicate chemistry. It's here, in these invisible spaces, that thought takes flight. A dancer in motion imagines standing in a field at dusk, cupping your hands around a glowing ember, then passing that ember to another person and another and another. That's how your neurons speak, by passing tiny flames across synaptic spaces, across millions of delicate bridges. But these bridges aren't built once and left alone. They are dancers in motion, changing shape, rhythm, and strength as your life unfolds. This is synaptic plasticity, a special form of neuroplasticity. It is the reason your brain can adapt, why a memory can form or fade, why a habit can shift, and why even now as you sleep your mind continues to grow. Your synapses are sensitive, they respond to experience. If a path is used often, the bridge strengthens. The flame passes more easily, more quickly, more surely. If a path is rarely used, the bridge may loosen, crumble, or disappear. This is your brain's quiet way of letting go. And sleep is when this balancing act is at its most graceful. As you rest, your brain revisits the day's activity. It strengthens the synapses that matter. It gently prunes the ones that don't. Like a gardener trimming vines so others can flourish, you might picture it as a kind of dance, with each synapse swaying closer or spinning gently apart, not in chaos, but in rhythm. The rhythm of memory, emotion, learning, and healing. Some of these changes are invisible. You don't feel your synapses shifting, but you may wake with a clearer thought, a softened fear, or a sudden insight. That is their signature, quiet yet lasting. In children, this dance happens quickly. Their brains are filled with blooming synapses, forming connections at a breathtaking pace. Every experience leaves a mark. Every repetition builds a pathway. Their minds are wide open fields. The quiet artist, as we grow, this dance becomes more refined. The field narrows. The steps become more deliberate. But the music never stops. Even in adulthood, your brain remains responsive. Synapses continue to form, to break, and to reform in new shapes. Learning a new skill, recovering from grief, or changing a perspective you've held for years. All of these reshape the dance floor. Even while you dream tonight, deep within your REM sleep, this dance continues. Emotional memories are being replayed. Ideas are stitched together into symbolic dreams. Your brain is trying new steps, testing new sequences, adjusting the spacing of the dancers. Sometimes this process is smooth, other times it feels clumsy, like a memory you can almost reach, or a dream that slips away. That's part of it, too, the forgetting, the reshuffling, the gentle trial and error. Your brain isn't perfect, but it is patient, and always it is becoming. Each dream and each hour of sleep changes you in small, immeasurable ways. The synapses you build tonight will shape the thoughts you have tomorrow, the choices you make, and the emotions you feel. You're not a static being. You're a rhythm, a pattern in motion, a song with no final verse. So breathe in and out. Picture your brain not as a machine but as a living network. Tens of billions of neurons glowing softly, reaching for one another across spaces that shift with time. It's easy to forget how alive you are on the inside, how much happens in stillness, but your inner world is vibrant. Even now, your brain is practicing its steps, rehearsing the dance of understanding. And each night, this performance continues. No audience, no spotlight, just a quiet unfolding. Your inner sculptor, and where do these synaptic dances lead? They move you toward change, toward growth, toward a form of self, shaping that is both invisible and profound. Because as synapses shift, so do you, the way you remember, the way you respond, the way you dream. And ahead lies something even deeper. Not just movement, but transformation. Not just the dancers, but the sculptor shaping the entire stage. Because next, we meet the part of your brain that does more than connect. It carves. It rebuilds. It shapes you moment by moment from within. The sculptor is waiting. Imagine your brain as soft clay, warm, alive, and ever-changing. Now, imagine a sculptor inside you. Not separate from who you are, but made of you, made by you. A quiet artist with gentle hands and invisible tools. This sculptor doesn't rush. It doesn't chisel or crack. It shapes slowly, thoughtfully, always listening to experience, always responding to change. This is neuroplasticity at its deepest level, not just forming new connections, not just rearranging thoughts, but sculpting the very structure of your mind. And the hands that sculpt, they move most gracefully at night. As you rest, your brain is not fixed in its form. It is shaping itself, releasing the paths you no longer need, and strengthening the ones that carry your newest hopes, your quietest memories, and your growing understanding. This is a dance you do not feel, yet it is happening right now. Your experiences from today have left their traces. Moments of surprise, small victories, new questions, and even moments you barely noticed. Those, too, have weight. And now, beneath the cover of sleep, your brain decides which impressions to keep and which to gently smooth away. Sculpting yourself like an artist running fingers over clay, your brain refines itself. It presses inward where a path has faded. It adds soft ridges where meaning has grown. It carves gently in the places where pain left marks, where change is needed, and where growth quietly begins. This is called synaptic pruning. It may sound technical, but it is as natural as dreaming. Your brain trims away unused connections to make space for the ones you use most. It lets go of what's unnecessary so that what matters can flourish. Think of a tree in winter. Its branches are bare, shedding what it no longer needs. It's not dying, it's preparing. Your brain does the same, not all at once, not harshly, but with care, rhythm, and time. When you practice something, a new skill, a new thought pattern, a new way of being, your brain responds. It strengthens the paths that support it. It sculpts new ridges of potential. And when something is no longer part of your life, the sculptor may gently dissolve its form. This sculpting isn't just about memory and learning, it's about the very architecture of your being. It's about a quiet, persistent revision of who you are and who you will become. And this is why sleep is so sacred. It's not just a pause. It's the workshop of your mind, the sacred space where the unseen artist is at work. So as you drift into deeper sleep, you are not just an observer of this process, you are the living canvas, the breathing clay, and the masterpiece being made. You are the sculptor and the sculpted. All of it is happening within you now, and all of it is part of the beautiful, ever-changing story of your life. Sleep well.